Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. I am your host, Ashley King, aka the Get It Done Queen. I help people of faith tell their story by writing a book and maximizing their reach through speaking and events. To learn more about me, you can go to my website, www.ashleymking.com. That's ASHLEY, M as in Mary, King, KING.com. So thank you so much for tuning in today. So today's topic is something that I think is very pertinent to new authors, those authors who are still discovering who they are. Perhaps you're within your first 5 books. We're going to talk about branding, branding for authors. In my experience, I've come across different authors. So if you're perhaps new to the podcast, like I said, I am the Get It Done Queen, which in essence, I am a book publisher and a consultant. I help people who have a desire to write books, usually nonfiction and memoirs, tell their story and get their story out there to the masses. Usually, starting off, people, I just want to tell a story. They don't have, perhaps a brand. And usually branding comes into place if you're going to be a entrepreneur, if you're going to make this a career of it. That is where, branding comes in. How are you going to stand out? What are you going to be known for? That's the importance of branding. So we're going to talk about that today. So when you hear Stephen King, what do you think of? What about J.K. Rowling? What do you think of? When you hear the name Danielle Steele, what do you think of? Well, how about T.D. Jakes? There is something that all these authors have in common, and no, it's not that they are, New York best time seller, which is great, but they're authors that have their own brand, and you can relate to them or tie them to a certain genre. When you think of Stephen King, I mean, what horror, of course, gore, just like, and I'm not a big fan of like scary movies. I don't like to be scared, okay? When you think of J.K. Rowling, what do you think of? Magical, mystical, Harry Potter. It was like her breakthrough. And when you hear Danielle Steele, what do you think of? Usually romance of drama. And when you hear the name T.D. Jakes, what do you think of? Usually self-help, woman thou art loose. Those are for the Christian faith, inspirational. All those authors have a brand. When you hear their name, you think of something. Branding is more than just colors, having a website. It's how do your readers perceive you? When they hear your name, what do they think of? That is more so of branding and what we're going to be talking about today. So I do have just have my notes here. I do have 4 tips, right, that we're going to talk about branding. And like I said, I also deal with authors that come from the business world, so they have a more understanding of, what branding is. And like I tell them, it's more than just your colors, and, having a website, and it's easier for them to understand versus those who are brand new to being an author, who are not familiar with business, who are just like, I have a story and I need to get it out there. Okay. So those who, have a business or entrepreneurial background have a tendency to catch on more about branding than those who are, no experience in business or understand entrepreneurship or understand what it means to be an author and have a, successful career with this. All right. So the number one thing that, T.D. Jakes, J.K. Rowling, Stephen King, and Danielle Steele have in common is they're consistent, right? Most of these authors have well over 100 books. Not 1, not 5, not 15, not 20, over 100. I believe 3 out of 4 of these authors have over 100 books. They are consistent, all right? Of course, the more you write, the better your writing gets. So, of course, when they started off, their writing might not have been the greatest. But the thing is, they kept writing. And usually that's what it takes as a new author that, you're going to write your first book and it's going to be very daunting. It's so much to learn. There's a learning curve there. But the more that you write, the more that you get familiar with publishing, the better your writing becomes, and the better that you understand the ins and outs, the nuances of being a publisher, because you're a self-publisher, right? So, writing 100 books isn't something that you can do in 1 year. And watch, just because I've said that, it is going to happen. And if you're not familiar, we already have AI, artificial intelligence, that can write like an author. Joanna Penn is one. I believe she's been testing out AI as far as, you can give the machine or AI an author's book and they test their writing and they can write something just as similar to that particular author. They study their writing style, the type of words, and et cetera, et cetera. So just because I said that perhaps you're not going to be able to write 100 books in 1 year, I'm pretty sure someone's going to come out and do that. Maybe not soon, but eventually. But nonetheless, in real time, in today's time, it's going to take a while for you to get 100 books underneath your belt, in essence. I believe I'm on book number 6, but I have also helped probably it's like 20 people. I'm probably like 2 years into the game, into the business, right? And graduating with my master's in creative writing publishing in about a month. So whoop, whoop, whoop. But nonetheless, the more you write, the better your writing skills come, the more comfortable you get in who you are and establishing yourself as an author. And then that gets into how the next one, number 2, how are readers able to engage with you, interact with you? Besides writing, perhaps you might not have heard of T.D. Jakes. He is a world-renowned minister. Of course, you can, watch him on television. He has social media pages. He, there's a way that, fans of his books, of his conferences, of his ministry can engage with him. I'm pretty sure perhaps not him responding to every, Facebook message, to tweet. But he has a staff in which, people can, engage with him, receive prayer. He has conferences so people can meet him in person. There needs to be a way that people can engage with you, interact with you. And if it's not you, and perhaps you're a fictional author, then they need to be able to engage with the main character of your book. If you've created this character, you've given them life inside of your book, take them beyond the book. Create them a social media page, all right? I think that would be really dope that, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but of course, all of that, if Harry Potter has a fan page, which I'm pretty sure he does, but nonetheless, if your main character or yourself has a social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, some space, some platform in which the readers can engage with you or the main character, they're going to definitely appreciate that. And that's how you turn fans into super fans. That's how you get yourself known out there as that author, who's into, whether you're a sci-fi, nonfiction, talking about a memoir that's going to help, women increase their self-worth. It's a memoir about, foster care. As you get out there, get engaged, interact, have conversations with people, you are building your brand. So number 1, continue to write more than 1 book. Number 2, engage with your readers. A good platform, if you're going to be super engaging and communicating with people, is Goodreads. It's an older platform, but it's very known for being interactive with the readers are interactive with the authors. Okay. All right, so definitely engage with your audience. 3, before you can even engage with your audience, you need to know your audience. Okay. So I'm gonna say this, loud and clear. Your book is not for everyone. Let's say it again for the people in the back. Your book is not for everyone. Like I said, I'm a book publisher, and I've interacted with successfully published about 20 books. And a lot of times, especially the newbies, are like, oh, my book is for everyone. It can help everyone. Oh, my book is for women. My book is for entrepreneurs. They throw out this blanket title that kind of covers everyone because they are afraid to reject people. But in essence, the riches are in the niches. All right. Perhaps you don't know what that means. I'm going to say it again. The riches, the money is in the niches, the small target audience. All right. So, because I deal heavily with faith-based, I usually say that a Juanita Bynum is different from a Joyce Myers. Okay. They're both women. They are both of Christian, faith. They both pretty much are done, target audience is women. But a Juanita Bynum, it's someone that is very known for like praying, demonic warfare, breaking strongholds, like really going in. Like we fasting for a whole week and getting to the Lord. Like that's the advanced. Joyce Myers is, get saved, check your attitude, honey. You know what I'm saying? The battlefield of the mind. Get yourself together. I don't want to, that's more of the newbies coming in. They may not, fully understand fasting just yet. We're trying to work on their attitude, really knowing that God loves them. So we're working on kind of like the basic principles and foundations with them. So even though to the, untrained eye, in essence, most people say, oh, they target the same audience. Not really. Like, if you know their audience and you listen to how they're talking, if you've read their books, it's kind of, they're two different, levels to this. You have the babes, and then you have the people who, chewing on meat. The babes are drinking milk, and, Juanita Bynum, they chewing steak. Now, you got to fully chew all of that, all right? So, we're going to say that. So I'm going to give you a more detailed example. So once again, a lot of them saying, my book is for women. I want to help women build, better their self-worth, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to give you a more specific definition I'm going to give you a more specific example of knowing your audience. I'm going to say a woman, 30 to 45 years of age, who is married, have 2 to 3 kids under the age of 5. She's a stay-at-home mom who's dying for some alone time, right? Or some grown-up time, because she's stuck home all day with these kids that are under 5 years of age, and they're yelling and whining and mommy, all that. They're pulling on her, and she just wants some alone time. All right. Her and her husband haven't had a date night in 3 months because of their schedule, and she would greatly appreciate an escape from reality. All right. So if you were to hear that, what type of genre do you think that this woman would qualify for? If you were to think between the T.D. Jakes, J.K. Rowling, Danielle Steele, Stephen King, out of those 4 authors, who do you think this woman would have perhaps a greater target or, greater chance of reading the book? Okay, me personally, I would think Danielle Steele, she's wanting to escape. She hasn't had a date night with her husband. She wants some alone time, adult time. She's missing that. And, if you're reading Danielle Steele romance, it's escape from reality, perhaps fill that void of not having date time with her husband, even though she should, etc., etc. So that's one example. Now, if I take that same example, a woman, 30 to 45 years of age, married, 2-3 kids, all under the age of 5, at home all day, wants some adult time, haven't had date night with her husband in 3 months because they have a busy schedule. But I changed that last sentence to say she would greatly appreciate rekindling her relationship with her husband and getting her home in order. Out of T.D. Jakes, Danielle Steele, J.K. Rowling, Stephen King, what author do you think should be more inclined to read their books? All right. And like I said before, T.D. Jakes, he's known for the self-help, marriage, relationship. So given how that last sentence changed as far as she's wanting to rekindle, the flame, the love with her husband, as well as get her house in order, T.D. Jakes, who's a, self-help author, a minister, his books will be more inclined for her. I mean, probably need a little more background, but from the most part of what we know, T.D. Jakes will be the better fit. So it's very important that you define your audience, all right? And if you need help defining your audience, make sure that you text Get It Done to 31996. Get It Done to 31996, and we can schedule a complimentary discovery session in which, I talk to you more about the book you're writing, what your needs are, your publishing needs, and we can see if we're a good fit. So once again, text Get It Done to 31996. All right. So that's how specific you need to be in defining your audience. The more you know, the better, because this is going to help you when it comes time to market your book. All right. So the more that you can define your reader, the better. All right. Last but not least, what do you want to be known for? All right. Like I said, branding is more than colors and having a nice website. It's when people hear your name, what do they think? That is your brand. Are you an author that will always have encouraging words that lift up your reader? Will you be an author known for killing off, one of your characters halfway through the book? Will you have a tagline like me? Or will you dress a certain way that you are easily identifiable? Okay? Like I know people who have purple hair. That is their thing. Like that's, of course, they're not born that way, but that is their brand, that fits their characters, the type of writing. When you see that particular author, you always going to know that she's going to have some color of shade of purple in her hair. If you are, a Dunes fan or, space opera, Kevin J. Anderson, if you follow him like on Facebook, he is known for his cats, right? I think Percival, Yeti, Sophia, and Amberly. Like Percival has its own Facebook page, okay? So Percival, Yeti, Amberly, and Sophie. Hopefully I got those right. So that's, him. Of course, he's known, like world renowned, has over 100 books, bestseller, movies, etc., etc., a list full of awards, all of that. But if you follow him on social media, it's very personable and you will get to know his cats, right? And like I said, Percival has his own Facebook page. So that's just a suggestion. Like my tagline, I am an author, but then I'm also the get it done queen. I am the one, I'm not too fond of excuses. I'll listen, but then we're going to take action. We're going to come up with a strategy to help you get it done. I believe if you've been sitting on this book and you are ready to take action, I am your person. I'm going to sit down, hold your hand, and help you through start to finish to get it done. No excuses. If you're a type of person, you're going to have excuses, then I am perhaps not the one for you. All right? And so you don't have to have a tagline or anything like that. You could just be very personable. You could be known as the author that is always smiling. You could be known as an author that's always frowning. Like perhaps you write stories of just a mean character and you're just a mean person. Hopefully that's not the case, because you don't ever want to turn off your readers. You always want them to feel appreciative for the love and support. So just some things to think about, all right? So just know that branding, it's a process. but don't let it overwhelm you. I mean, these are just 4 tips. There are plenty of other things that you could do to help, grow yourself as a brand. But I'm going to say the number one thing is definitely being consistent. Continue to write, continue to get yourself out there, engage with your audience, and then know your audience, like we said. But definitely continue to be consistent in what you do. The more you write, the more you engage with your readers, the more you learn about publishing, the more you will get the hang of it and establish who you are as an author. I mean, your first book, you're like a newborn baby, right? You're coming out the womb. And then the more books you write, the more you grow and mature in this thing, and you learn from your mistakes. And so that overall is, some tidbits for branding for authors. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Ashley King, aka the Get It Done Queen. I help people of faith tell their story by writing a book and maximizing their reach through speaking and events. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to www.ashleymking.com. Once again, that's ASHLEYM as in Mary, KING.com. If you would like to schedule a complimentary discovery session with me, you can text Get It Done to 31996. That's Get It Done to 31996. One last time, Get It Done to 31996. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's podcast. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Love you all. Take care.